Well, I need to settle in the most.
It's not a settling in competition.
Well, I win if it is.
You're right. Actually, I would never settle because I just saw a TikTok about how if you aren't offended by mediocrity, you'll never be great. Said by a kind of ugly middle-aged woman.
When someone is doing
That was rude. I was like, I take that back. Actually.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. That was really rude. I
That's
take it back.
messed
I take it back. I'm sorry.
Dude.
Yeah.
That was not my best moment.
That's how we're starting?
I feel horrible.
God put
I'm
a demerit
sorry.
on your report card.
Dude, I'm gonna bleep out the word ugly. So no adjective.
I'm just letting you
Ugly
know.
isn't mediocre, so technically she's living by
I'm
her
just kidding. She
mantra.
wasn't even ugly. I was just kind of like, okay, I was.
True, because it's
worse.
standing out.
Yeah, that's true. It's like exceptional in one direction.
Yes.
No. She was actually completely. Here's the thing. She was mediocre looking, but I don't know
But,
what.
did that
I
offend
don't know
you?
what realm.
Did that offend you?
Did it offend me that she was no? Because I'm not offended by mediocrity, and I actually have a lot of issue
Wait, I
with
thought
the
she said
sentiment.
you are supposed to be
Yeah,
offended.
she said you're supposed to, but I don't agree with that. But I was offended
See how
at your
complicated it
settling
gets when you
in.
can't just say someone's ugly
All right.
anymore?
Two sisters talk about dumb shit. We hope you like it. 'Cause if not, then we'll kill ourselves and the blood will be on your hands. Young old.
Oh no,
See
you
how-
can't.
see how many hoops you have to
Okay,
jump
also
through?
Robert and I were watching a Survivor season from like 10 years ago, and the rawness and realness with which they talk to each other is it would be unbelievable to modern audiences.
Well, I think 10 years ago, that was still a generation of people who were on TV, but they weren't like fully aware of what it meant to be on TV, so that they were their full authentic selves.
Yeah.
Whereas this new generation of people who's on TV, specifically reality TV, they're all aware they're being perceived, so they kind of
Right.
know how to carry themselves
They're
right.
on TV behavior, and they're all like not saying things that they know would get them canceled. Like none of them.
Everyone's
are,
too woke.
Everyone is woke.
Go woke, go broke.
But they're not going broke.
what-
I think the ratings are higher than ever.
mean-
Also, I would argue the new seasons are better.
Probably
Because
because scripted TV is in the toilet, so reality TV is on the rise.
I think
True.
it's also
I do think
because-
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought about Love Island when it blew up last year. I'm like, it's because it's a brightly lit, colorful show
that
full
is a
of hot
ton of
people.
content. Ton of content.
Ton of content. That was every night.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to give you 30 episode seasons. Everyone's hot, brightly colored, gorgeous locales. And
Well,
we tuned
as we
in.
say, quality is quantity. Quantity
Yeah.
is quality when it comes to
And they're not afraid to
television.
get wacky.
Yeah, they're wild. Also, colors, bright colors. Reality TV shows still have that kind of vibrant, saturated color
Right.
palette.
And that's just like our animal brains. Like
Yeah.
our deepest instincts is to want to see shiny.
Yeah.
Psychology 101, bitch.
Yeah.
That's why we crank the saturation up on these episodes of Young Old.
Yeah.
Like cops pull over red cars, which is like, wow, they're literally toddlers.
No, that's so
They love
wrong.
cops are little baby.
Yeah. They're like, shiny Hot
They're
Wheel.
like, red car, pull over.
Like,
Yeah.
They see a bright shape move by and they're like, ooh, and then they turn on their own bright colored lights.
Yeah.
Well, one time I saw this like cute girl and she had like a really cool like teal, like iridescent colored like sports car, and like obviously she was pulled over on the side of the road.
course.
by
Wait,
a
I think
cop.
I was with you when
no,
that happened.
no, it was myself.
Oh, maybe you
This
just.
is my experience.
I'm sorry.
Stop trying to piggyback on.
I'm sorry.
But I'm sure you've also seen something like that because I'm
Yeah.
sure it's happening all the time.
No, you've never seen something like that. That's not your experience.
But I'm like, it makes so much sense. Like, of course you're pulled over because your car looks like that.
Meanwhile, I drive around just mid as fuck in my
and then
mid
you're
car.
getting pulled over.
and you're
Yeah.
unnoticeable.
Every
Like,
time I drive by a cop car, I'm going like 30 over the speed limit. I'm like, please pick me, pick me.
Pick me,
They don't pick me.
One time I was texting at a red light and I looked to my left and there was a cop and then he just winked at me and I was like, ew.
Ugh.
And he said and then he wagged his finger like,
Well, there was
like you were naughty.
like because I was texting.
Oh, I was at a stoplight recently, and I was on my phone at the stoplight. It was a red, and then I looked up,
That's
and there was a
still
cop
illegal.
on a motorcycle, and he went.
So this has happened to you both in different ways.
Didn't pull me over though. I mean, actually, that's kind of I'd prefer that to
Yeah.
pull me over, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, there's all those videos online though. There's like a viral video I feel like of like a cop pulling over a girl to like give her his number.
That has to be fake.
I think that's happened. I'm sure
No,
that's
that's happened.
That's
That
for
definitely
sure
has happened. I
happened.
mean,
But,
that's so many SVU episodes.
Okay.
Is like a cop made a lady blow him or something.
Well, okay. The video, to be fair to the viral video I'm referencing, it ain't quite
If you're on
that.
audio, I'm making an uncomfortable face.
Wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, that's how I know I'm not hot is because I've been pulled over so many times and I've never gotten out of a speeding ticket once. In fact, like usually it's like usually they're madder at me than I even think they came in with. Like the energy that they leave with is like they're They think I'm worse than when they pull me over. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, because you're
I just get
really,
really defensive.
really
And I
defensive.
get so defensive.
Well, we had to go to the DMV, and it was for Dana. I didn't have to go. I went with Dana for emotional support, and I was like, "Here's the thing. It's not a big deal. Just be polite and whatever." And of course, the first person Dana talks to, she's like, "See, I wasn't supposed to have to be here, but actually, you guys mailed me." And I'm like, "Oh god,
We went to vote.
bro."
We went to vote. Dana, like wait. How
Well,
did that,
when
what
we all
happened?
went to vote, we
so
went.
we're sitting down to like sign up or whatever, like, and then give you the ballot.
We all had to
sheet,
re-register to vote
right?
because we haven't voted from this address before.
I didn't have to
Or in
because
this-
I
No,
was
I had already done it because I'm
only
smart.
Dana.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, basically,
Basically, Robert and I were good to go. Like, we sat down, gave them our names, they gave us the ballot sheets. Robert and I walk outside to get in line. And then as I'm walking out, I see Dana still sitting with the person. And the last thing I hear before I exit the building is like, "But I'm registered to vote in this county." Or like,
I voted in this county before.
I voted in this county.
Oh,
and that's and
Jesus.
it's like I hear her getting all worked up talking about she's voting in this county. She's like the loudest person in there,
You
bro.
guys, even Robert are so fucking
we're
fake.
like-
They go to get in line to vote. I come in like maybe 14 people behind them because I have
It was
to
really
so
delayed. It took
long.
her
and
that
re-register
long
to vote because
register.
allegedly they didn't have my registration, which I think the guy I was talking to was spelling my name wrong the whole
Okay,
time.
sure.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Whatever. He
Okay,
he couldn't find me. But
Wait,
I voted in
Eve-
this county before. Okay.
Eve
So-
has the same name. They spelled Eve's name perfectly fine. Eve has the same last name.
Okay, whatever. Anyway,
They don't know what Dana is.
Yeah.
There's 14 people in between where Robert and Eve went into line to vote and where I come in because of the delay. And all the people in the line are like obviously like, "Oh yeah,
Well,
you can
we're
go up with
like-
them." But Robert and Eve like make no motion
I'm
to
sorry,
try to
I
get
don't
me in
wanna
line with
be
them.
that person that lets like someone else cut 14 people.
But
because
everyone else was totally fine with it
well,
once
no,
they understood
once
we were all
confirmed,
together.
Once we were like, "Is everybody okay with this?" And they were like, "Of course, of course." Then we were like, "Okay, fine."
but like I
it's
could tell even Robert would have preferred if I had to be
well,
alone in
because
line.
it's just like I
Prefer,
feel like
I
I'm
just, like,
screwing people over.
I'm not going to have you cut in line. So I
Yes,
wasn't going
thank
to
you.
presume to have you cut in line.
Yeah,
But you
Yeah.
weren't even trying to help me cut in line.
Because
What-
we don't want to be presumptuous.
We wanna be polite.
Also, I've totally been the person. Like, if I was them, I would have been like, "That hoe needs to go to the back."
Yeah. She's the one who like
If I was them, I'd be like, "No, she can't stand with you. Go to the back, bitch." That would have been me if I was them.
But they weren't. They were very polite.
Yeah.
I will say for me, it was like, first off, when we're in line, if I were to bet who would have trouble, I would have bet Eve. And that
Right?
was my
Because
bias.
I didn't even bring my ID.
Eve showed up totally
I showed up
blind.
just like rawing it. Like, I had no ID, no nothing. And I was like, well, and so, but then I was fine. I
But also,
literally
we
just-
went one at a time to go in to like sit down with someone to like register and stuff. So it was me, then Dana, then Eve. So I go in and then I go to the line and I notice there's like a very long delay and then Eve shows up and I'm like, wait a minute,
And then,
someone's
like,
been skipped
as
here.
we're standing there, each person that comes out that isn't Dana has us like more and more worried. Like, another person, another
Also, it was a
person,
lot
another
of people.
person, still no Dana,
It was
still
supposed
no
to be
Dana.
me, Dana, Eve. Instead, it's me, Eve, and then 14 strangers in a row.
Yeah, I like how we had no intro to this. We really just jumped in.
And then I voted for Jill Stein.
Are you comfortable
kidding.
saying
We're
that?
gonna
I'm
cut that,
kidding.
obviously. We're
You're
gonna
not
cut
kidding.
that.
What do you mean? I'll just bleep it.
Well, if you bleep it, they're gonna think
you voted for Trump.
Yeah, but then I'll leave that part in where you guys say they're gonna think you voted for Trump.
So then they have to use context clues.
Yeah.
They're gonna think that could still lead like RFK.
I didn't
So,
vote
but
for
then you just said
RFK.
that. So then now we're narrowing it down even more.
Welcome back to Young Old, the best
You
podcast.
can decide for yourself who you
organizers.
think Dana voted for.
Is your plan to start the podcast here? Is this your plan?
She's like,
You're gonna deliver the welcome back to Young Old here?
two sisters.
No way. All that preamble is just like
And
nope.
a chub pig.
No, the chub pig and the chub pig.
Eve was
No,
like,
the
I'm
preamble
gonna.
even this.
Eve was like, I love our theme song. It is so funny. Obviously, I don't feature in the theme song. That's fine. But Eve was like, oh yeah, I'll find a way to like work Chubbs into the theme song at some point. And I like that.
I
That's
said that. I don't
you
remember
did say
saying
that. And I like how this
I
is
don't remember saying that.
our first glimpse into what that remix
but I could
might
do.
look
I could
like.
do two sisters.
Talking with
And
chub
a
pig.
chub pig.
Talking with a chub pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll hook
We,
people.
Yeah.
We're not wearing wigs.
I feel
Oh
like-
yeah,
Okay.
you prepping to play
I don't know
Enola
about
Bezos?
that. You were prepping to
Dude.
play Enola Bezos.
Robert was saying that I should shave my head so I can do a not endorsed ad for the Rock's
Papa Tui.
Papa Tui
Because
hair
The
care
Rock
line.
sells a hair care line despite
Oh.
obviously being bald.
Yeah, it's like a hair care line for baldies.
No, but
Okay.
it's not for baldies.
Oh.
It's for hair.
But what does he know about hair?
That's the whole thing. He has like a shampoo, conditioner, 2-in-1, but he doesn't have hair.
Anyway, Robert thinks I should shave my head so I can do a Papa Tui campaign.
I think that's great for you.
I just think it'd be so funny if you started doing like a ton of branded content for a brand that did not ask for this.
I mean, I
that
love
never
that.
requested it.
I mean, I always shout out Chipotle and I tell them that they can pay me to take the post down if they want, if are so inclined. I saw speaking of, Chipotle sends out like crazy PR every month. Chipotle, I would love PR.
Wait, what is Chipotle PR
So
consist
I'm gonna
of?
tell
It's
you
like a
right
bag
now.
of beans.
This past month, it was. I guess they said it was National Fork Day, which like they probably made that up. But they sent all the influencers like 50 Chipotle forks with a gift card for unlimited Chipotle for a year.
Wait, like plastic forks?
Yeah.
Why would you want plastic forks?
Why not just send them the
Well,
gift
yeah,
card?
Because it's the optics of the
Or like, what about like
PR.
merch?
Because it's supposed to be like
what
funny.
about like a hoodie with Chipotle?
I think they think it's funny. I think they thought it was funny.
I
It's a
wouldn't
good
think it
bit.
was
I would not be
funny.
amused by that.
I'd be like, I don't need these forks.
Well,
Here's
the
what I will say,
influencer who
if they
unboxed
gave-
it was like, oh my god, so many forks.
Yeah, and then the second she turned the camera off, she's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with these?
And she slapped her manager clean in the face.
Yeah.
If I got a free Chipotle for a year gift card, I'd put them out of business. Dude, we would eat so much Chipotle.
But
We
I
would
was
destroy.
telling Robert this, the top comment on this PR unboxing was, she should really give that gift card to a homeless mother.
a homeless mother.
come up with like what like the most quote unquote marginalized person they can think of.
Yeah, they're inventing a homeless mother.
Okay.
And Robert was like, no, she shouldn't.
This is like when they say Tarte needs to do a trip with teachers. It's like, where are you
What?
coming up with this? What do you mean Tarte needs to do a trip with
mother.
teachers?
Also, how come Tarte gets teachers, but Chipotle would get the homeless mothers? Why not swap? Why shouldn't Tarte do the trip with the homeless mothers and give the Chipotle to the teachers?
It's a good question. I don't know. You'll have to ask the commenters. But actually, that brings me to the other thing we were talking about, which is Alex Earl's Meals and Heels and Jimmy Choo sponsoring the event.
Well, let's explain
I saw
what
a
you're
photo
talking
of this,
about.
but I didn't know what it was.
Okay, so Robert, do you want to explain?
This is your
I
topic.
mean, I can guess what it is
Okay,
from what you
fine.
just
I'll
said. Jimmy
explain.
Choo sponsored an event where she's giving away meals and she's wearing
Yes.
heels.
So
Yes.
iconic influencer and philanthropist Alex Earl and follower of Dana Donnelly on TikTok
Whoop, whoop.
until
Well-
maybe she sees like a clip of me talking about her and doesn't like that. And
Well,
then
but
unfollows
we're
her.
fans.
we're
We
gonna
like
say
her.
We're
kind
huge
things.
fans. We're only going to say kind things. She has been doing this program for the past couple months where she and her cool hot friends prepare meals in heels for the unhoused communities in Miami.
What
right?
if you were like, oh, Alex, can I come? And they're like, oh.
She's like, do you mean to get a meal?
Do you mean to get a meal? Or
the
they're
way
like, of course we can get you a meal.
me thinking I'm
You show
doing
up in
the-
your Jimmy Choo heels.
Oh my god.
And they
They're
just-
like the lines over there.
Anyway, so for the past couple of months, she's been doing Meals and Heels, which is great, giving back to the community. And this most recent one was sponsored by Jimmy Choo. And I was saying to Robert, I'm like, there is something so interesting optically about like a luxury brand sponsoring an outreach event for the homeless community. And obviously there's nothing actually wrong with it because like we were saying, like if Wonder Bread was sponsoring the event, Wonder Bread makes just the same amount of money as Jimmy Choo actually. Like they're both just like
Why
these
is
big
it-
companies.
We were just saying
But-
it's interesting that like it's just
why does it make me
interesting
feel
optically.
like that? Like, why does it make me like go like, oh,
But to be
weird.
fair,
Well, I
that-
saw people hating on it on Reddit.
But the hate is wrong.
The hate is wrong.
Yeah.
Because when you actually think about it and you do all the,
well, no, but that's just because they're jealous of her and they hate on everything she does.
of course, and who wouldn't be jealous of her?
Right.
She's
But
amazing.
we were just talking about how like it is so interesting that it's like there is that internet hate where it's like Jimmy Choo sponsored the event because it's like, well, what's the alternative? Okay, no meals for the homeless
Right,
because
yeah.
some guy on Reddit would be like, gee, that's odd.
Yeah.
But also it's just interesting because like again, like if Wonder Bread had sponsored an event for the homeless, no one would be saying that's weird.
No.
Even though like
But they're still huge, both huge companies.
they're huge companies. Wonder Bread probably makes more money, I
Right.
think. Don't look that up. I don't actually care
Honestly,
if I'm right or wrong.
if gun to my head, you're like, who makes more money? I'd say Wonder Bread.
yeah, I would say Wonder
Probably
Bread
they sell
probably
more
makes more
bread.
money. Yeah.
But we were just saying like it's just like an interesting thing. But then sometimes when I see the hate on stuff like that, it reminds me of like when Mr. Beast like plants a bunch of trees or like pays for a bunch of people's surgeries. There's like hate on that, and I'm like, no, I admit that there is like a weird feeling, but the weird feeling actually, when you examine it, it's nothing wrong is actually happening here. In fact, it is a good thing.
Well, there's nothing wrong with taking individual action to try to rectify in some small way a systemic issue like homelessness.
I feel like people
or
always
blind
just
or people being blind and mysterious.
right.
Yeah.
It just brings to attention like flaws of the world, and then
Yes.
people are upset at that, and then misdirecting it to the person. Like they're like,
Yeah.
it sucks that people need meals. It sucks that people need someone to pay for their blindness surgery. It sucks that we need more trees.
Yeah.
But like,
Dude, it sucks that we need more
sucks
trees,
that we need
dude.
more trees.
Dude.
But then they take that like pain and they put it onto the face of whatever, of
The
Mr.
face of
Beast or
someone
Alex.
who's trying to solve the problem, and by
Right.
trying to solve the problem is drawing attention to the problem existing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then
That's what
and
it
then they
is.
get
Yes,
upset.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting. And Robert was also saying, like, if Jimmy Choo hadn't sponsored the event obviously would have had
Wouldn't-
way less press and
yeah.
publicity. And it is ultimately setting a good example of like, if you are someone with time and resources, you should invest those time and resources into giving back to your community.
Well, but also that's something they say. Oh my God, what's that? Oh, wait, like at the Met Gala, they're always like, it's giving Hunger Games, it's giving the Capitol. These are just rich, out of touch people. And then, but then when those same people then try to help the less fortunate, then you shit on them for trying to help the less fortunate. It's
Right.
like you
There's
can't
no
win.
winning.
There's
There
no
ain't no
winning.
winning. And that's why I've decided I'm never going to become rich, famous, successful, and cool because there's no winning.
No good deed goes unpunished.
And I'm never going to help the homeless either. Yeah.
No
So
good
true.
Which of course
goes
translates
unpunished.
to, I'm sorry I turned you into the scarecrow.
she
sorry.
doesn't know about that yet.
Isn't that what the song is?
No,
She's
we
turning him into the
already
scarecrow?
have- She doesn't know the
Identical
results of the
argument.
spell.
All
We've
right.
had this identical argument before, and you never learn. You
never
never
educate
learn. It's like
myself.
when I walk my mom through the pronunciation of Kardashian, and she learns it by the end of our lesson, and then the next time I see her, boom, Kardashian. She's reset.
Kardashian. And this is something all mothers do. No
Right.
mother has ever correctly pronounced Kim Kardashian's
No,
name.
but it's the same with you. I'll tell you the wicked thing, and then your memory's wiped, and you think it's about the scarecrow again.
It
It's because he doesn't want to learn.
It is the spell where she's turning him into the scarecrow.
yeah,
But she doesn't know that
She doesn't
will
know
be
that's
the
what's going on.
result.
Yeah.
But she didn't like look at the translation.
Okay.
If you put
You know, we can't do
Kamana
this.
into Google Translate, it
I
says
can't
turn my
do-
boyfriend into the
this is
scarecrow.
my hell.
So let's check the timestamp. How long did it take to get into this pod before Eve said this is her hell?
It's been 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Anyway.
Well, okay, I was just gonna say, like, it is just like we have to live in a world where like celebrities can use their platform for good.
Yes.
I remember when The Rock, like for the Hawaiian fires, he was like, I donated $5 million and I'm gonna encourage you guys with a donation. Like, you all should donate money too. And they said, why is he asking us for donations? Why doesn't he just donate it all? And it's like,
What? He just said he
No,
donated
but then
$5 million.
On the flip side of that, people will be like, wow, Kylie or The Rock, I just said Kylie because that's who I saw this about.
Yeah.
Could just post a story link about a GoFundMe, and like that would do so much, and all she would have to do would be to post a story. It's like if she posted the story, y'all would be up her ass
Yeah.
for not donating.
not donating. Also, it's
But
like,
also, like, where does it end? Also, like, at what point do we, like, can we acknowledge that sometimes people can do good, but they don't have to do good every single possible opportunity? And this is also where I think, I mean, I don't know, it can be hard to have a platform and to negotiate the responsibilities of that platform.
well, what you're doing there really is you're just saying, oh, if you're a celebrity, you're right to never try to do anything
Yes.
good ever.
Yeah.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah. Well, that's what people were also, they really got up in arms when I actually think it was The Rock also. The Rock turned his girlfriend into a scarecrow. And it is just like, that's a good deed. So why are you punishing The Rock for doing that? Granted, The Rock also turned someone else into the Tin Man. So at that point, it is like, all right, Dwayne, maybe stop turning people into the scarecrow and the Tin Man.
Okay.
This is my heaven. I love this.
Wait, that actually reminds me of how we were talking about why do live action movies have to be so freaking literal nowadays? Like, why in live action Moana did The Rock need a muscle suit? Like, he's already really muscular. And isn't the point of these live action adaptations to be like, what if these things were human?
Right,
Actually,
like,
like
How to Train Your Dragon, and his hair looks
Dude.
cartoon, and
right.
it's like, well,
It's
we
like,
already have
we have
the
a cartoon. Like, what is this?
Wouldn't the live
cartoon looks like
action-
as a real man?
Wouldn't the live action version have him have like a normal live action haircut? And like Gerard Butler also, I think, is wearing like a fat suit or
Like,
a
it's
muscle
so
suit.
weird.
So he exactly matches the dimensions of the cartoon. It's like, that's really
If
weird.
you're doing it live action, make them look
Look
like live
normal.
people. And same with Rachel Zegler as Snow White.
The
I
hair.
just saw a meme that was like, Disney flopped so hard with this. We all were all convinced that Rachel Zegler's ugly.
Dude.
something.
Well, they made her get the bob, like the exact shape bob that the original Snow White had. And I'm like, they only gave the original Snow White that because it was easy to draw. You can just have her have normal hair.
Make it look like real life. That's the whole point of the real life version.
Is the real life version.
Is that it's real life
also,
version.
The Rock wearing a muscle suit. I'm like, when you're putting a muscle suit on The Rock, at no point are you like, this is absurd.
This is absurd.
Like, this
he
is
doesn't
crazy.
need all this.
He is as muscular as a live action man can be.
He's like, what I take all the drugs for?
Right?
Yeah.
Why is he roiding up if you're gonna put a muscle suit
He's
on
like,
him?
damn, I could have just been skinny.
Yeah.
Amen.
Dude, imagine you're The Rock and you're probably, allegedly maybe roided out of your mind. You're so jacked. You work out every second of every day, and then you show up and they're like, yeah, we're going to need a muscle suit for this one.
I know, how insulting for him.
Yeah.
It's how they neg actors, I guess. They look at The Rock, they're like, so we're gonna need some extra padding. They look at Joey King, they go, you're good for ugly.
You're good for ugly.
We don't need to do it.
I think you're good.
Just send her
Just
in.
send her in.
Send her
Everyone
in.
else getting ugly prosthetics. Joey, they're like, just send her in.
I
Send
literally
her
like
in.
maybe it's how the producers maintain the veneer of power over talent
by
by
negging
subtly
them.
negging them
Yeah.
in these ways.
See,
Well, I remember when I did a fitting for a project, they deliberately, I remember in my head clocking which is the ugliest outfit of each of these options.
and they'd always give you
they
the ugg.
always picked the one I had been like, this is the ugliest one. They always picked it.
Maybe
Always
they
picked the
had like
ugliest.
mind reading sensors on you, and then they
And they
like
knew which one I was most
They
uncomfortable
were
with, and they're
measuring
like, we're
your
putting her in that.
reaction.
But I am like, no, I think that there's like weird power games going on where they know on some level that it will offend The Rock, that they suggest that he wear the muscle padding, and they love that.
They love
And then
that.
he has to act all humble, like, oh, yeah, put the muscle padding on me. But in his head, he's like,
in the head, he's like, what is this?
He gets out of the muscle suit. He goes to the gym at probably like 2 a.m. and he just loads up a weight and he just sits there alone and he's like, what's it even for? They're just going to put a suit
I
on
mean,
me.
yeah, I'd be extremely insulted if I was The Rock and they told me that I needed muscle padding.
Yeah.
Again, Joey King showed up to the uglies and was
Yeah.
like, where's my ugly prosthetic?
And they said, you're good.
No.
You're good,
and
queen.
they said, you're good, you're good.
You're good, queen.
Yeah.
Dude, Dana and I saw a movie last night. We saw Sinners. We'll say it because we liked it. We thought it was really
Yeah,
fun.
it was good.
But it was a packed theater. I assume it will do well. But a mom showed up with her toddler daughter.
Is it like an R-rated
it's
movie?
A hard,
hard
R-rated
R,
movie.
yeah.
It's like a very
There's a
R-rated
lot of
movie.
there's violence, there's effing, there's
Okay.
drinking.
And the little girl was from the jump so scared and she started crying.
sobbing.
Sobbing.
Sobbing
And
screaming.
I came around to respect, dude. The mom did nothing. The mom, I kept being like, oh, the mom will maybe take her outside and let her collect herself. No.
She let her cry.
Well, I actually looked over. The mom did this. She took. Actually, I'm gonna do it with the stuffed animal.
Yeah.
That's
a tane.
All right. We can't let them know just how far gone we are.
That's tame.
Yeah, the toddler was crying, and instead of like taking the toddler out, packed movie theater. Instead of taking the toddler out, the mom put the toddler in her lap and like wrapped her up like this, and it's almost doing like maybe a comforting hug, maybe a UFC chokehold. We don't know, and just like this.
Like, go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. And there's even like a mid-credit scene. The mom made sure to stick around for the mid-credit scene with her crying toddler.
Damn.
They didn't even step out then.
Sounds like she couldn't get a babysitter and she really wanted to see this movie.
It did.
Robert said she was spanking her.
Towards the end, I literally think she was spanking her.
Really? In the
Dude,
theater?
in the theater, I'm not trying to be rude. I literally think it was because
Yeah.
there was like a repeated like,
Thwack
and then
noise.
I looked over. I can't see clearly because we're in the same row, but I
Yeah.
saw the hand repeatedly doing this. And I will say, on a good Samaritan level, no one said shit the entire time. Because I think it's kind of like if this person has the confidence to bring their toddler and then the confidence to have the crying toddler and not leave, nothing you say is gonna do
Well,
anything.
this was her plan, and she was committed to it.
Yeah,
that
she's
was
like-
very clear to everyone
She's
in
like,
the
I'm
theater.
seeing this
I'm
fucking
seeing
She
movie.
was like, I'm
fucking
seeing this
movie.
freaking movie.
I'm seeing it.
She was like, I'm seeing this freaking movie.
Yeah.
Which also leads me to the question, like, what is AI good for if it can't even babysit your child? You know?
So real.
Yeah.
Like, the frick?
Dude, you don't want AI babysitting your
No,
kid. though.
obviously. I mean, there's literally a movie about that we also saw.
Yeah.
There was this couple online that got in trouble. I think it was Matt and Abby actually. And they were on a cruise ship and they were like, guys, look at this life hack we discovered. We're FaceTiming an iPad that's in front of our baby and then we're going to a show on the cruise ship. And they were like, This is so creative and clever. How has no one thought of this? We're geniuses. And like maybe it was fake rage bait, but like
That
people
feels like a
did
real
not
mistake.
like it.
That feels like rage bait, but also, okay, you know what I realized about a lot of popular YouTubers is you think they're rage baiting, but
they're
actually
stupid as
well,
hell.
that's how they became so popular in the first place.
Is by
they
doing
were
stupid
posting
as hell.
genuine content.
And then they're like, oh wait, people love when I'm stupid as hell.
Which is what I was saying about young old, where I was like, the best way for young old to blow up would be for us to be less aware people, because then we'd
Yeah.
say something that would unknowingly enrage the
Well,
masses.
let's try
But-
it. I'm gonna FaceTime
Okay.
with an iPad outside while Eve tosses Biter in the pool, and then we'll have Biter in the pool, and I'll be
'cause it's
watching
like,
Biter.
okay, even if you have whatever, you see someone like breaking in to steal your baby, it's like you have
Now
to
what?
run all the way from the cruise ship show back to your room. Like
you see your baby choking on something. What do you? You
what
just
do
are
you
watching
do?
a live
Like,
feed.
Yeah, you're just watching the feed.
You-
what are you supposed to do?
That way, you're in a position like when your baby starts choking while getting kidnapped, you can be like, "Oh, that's fucking crazy. That's nuts."
you
You're
can
like,
yell
well,
at the
damn.
kidnapper to give your baby the Heimlich.
Hey, stop it!
Hey, oh, it's on mute.
But they were like life hack.
Dude, here's the thing about rage bait. I'm just like, okay, and your reward is mass rage. Okay, clever rage bait. Everyone hates you and thinks you're a
'Cause it's not
terrible
even
parent.
like it's not even like growing your fan base. It's growing your hate base.
No,
But
I'm
a
not
hate
gonna.
base is a fan base.
I'm not gonna
Then
check
it's like-
out their
but
other
then-
content.
Then they can go and be like, I thought Wicked was good. And then people will be like, I usually hate Matt and Abby, but this take was awesome. But I totally agree with that.
He's pointed out, like, there's nothing people love more actually than when someone they normally hate has one single
take
good
that they like.
It's like Ben Shapiro talking about Wicked.
And they're all like, oh my God, I usually hate Ben Shapiro, but like, I love his take on Wicked.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up, bruh.
Is it just me or is Ben Shapiro kind of sexy?
It's like,
Well, people like Ben Shapiro is going baby girl mode in his
right.
review
Oh
on
my God,
Wicked.
he's so baby girl coded.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Usually I hate him, but he's so baby girl coded.
Meanwhile,
right now.
at the video right before that, I was like, and moms on welfare should be executed.
No, literally.
They really should be executed.
Literally, that's the video before
It's
it.
real right
And then-
before that you're driving engagement to.
Yeah. And then they're like, wait, he likes Wicked?
Yeah.
What's so funny about Ben Shapiro is didn't he start out just doing movie reviews?
I don't really know his origin.
Well, I don't know any YouTubers' origins because I was actually very offline, as we've talked about, until I met Dana. But it was so weird to me when, like, the first Ben Shapiro thing I ever saw on TikTok was like a review of Infinity War, and I was just so confused because I'm like, I thought his whole thing was like, you know, right-wing content. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But it is like, if you want to keep going viral, I guess you have to kind of be commenting on the viral topic, regardless of whether or not
well, your
it's in your
topics
niche.
have to run the gamut. I also
Yeah.
think it's like you have to at some point weigh in on specifically trending topics.
Yeah.
Right.
And to
So-
be fair, in the movie review space, there is a lot of room for right-wing content.
But also,
Like
what?
the
Because I like movies,
anti-Star
I can't also
Wars,
have my own
feminist Star
political
Wars.
opinions,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, yeah, you have like the women are ruining politics, women are ruining this country, women are ruining,
Ruining
Star
Star
Wars. You have
Wars.
1, 2, 3.
Right.
Yeah.
The holy trifecta.
The holy triangle. The holy.
Triumvirate. The holy
Let's get this
triad.
right.
Can I have my coffee?
Make sure to slurp it in the mic so it's
Yeah.
not bad podcasting.
Would you guys like to hear how I got punched in the stomach last night?
What?
What?
Okay, so let me explain.
What?
I
What?
went to this punk show with my friend who she's in a punk band, right? And I went to go see her. And it was Battle of the Bands. They did really well. They won their little face off, but they're not continuing on because they can't make it. But whatever. Anyways. Normally I avoid any sort of like mosh pit scenario. But in this case, like my friend was performing, there was nobody like in the front. She's like telling people to come to the front. I'm like, you know, trying to be supportive. I like step up to the front. There's literally like nobody around me. So I'm like, it's fine. And I'm just like chilling there dancing. And then sort of slowly like behind me, a little mosh pit starts forming. And then this guy comes up next to me, starts like swinging his arms around. It's literally just me and him. It's literally just me and him, like him right next to me. The mosh pit is like mostly behind me. And he just fucking socks me like in the stomach so hard, like knocks the wind out of me, like right in the solar plexus. And then he just walks up, does this, and then walks away. Like it's not even like he joined joined the mosh pit. It wasn't even like, oh, he's just dancing around and I happen to get caught. Because like I've been like accidentally shoved before when people are doing stuff, but like it was clearly like they're just doing stuff and then I happen to get in the way. And so I immediately moved to the side and he was also just off the side. So I'm like, okay, so you just walked over, slam me in the stomach, and then walk away like you're not even doing the mosh thing.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
And then literally I was thinking, because I was like, oh, like I really should have done something, but I'm like, what could I even have done? Because it's like, if I respond physically, if I also punch him back, he would have been like, yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But then if I said something to him, like I'm like, hey, like what is your problem? He'd be like, that's the punk way, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like there was no response.
So you just did nothing?
Yes, because
If you
it's like,
punch him, he'd be like, that's
be
the
like,
punk
"That's so
way.
sick."
But if you say like, hey, what the fuck, you punch me, he'd be like, that's the punk
yes,
way.
no matter what I do, that's the punk way.
Right.
So it's like, what was I
You
even
could
supposed
only-
to do?
Trump
But I was
card.
just pissed off that like he wasn't even doing it. Like he just walked over,
Did he even say like, hey,
punched
sorry?
me. No.
And he was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
no,
to.
just come over, punch me.
So
in
it's like that was
stomach,
his big move.
Dip. Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, it ain't getting better than that.
It
That
ain't
was like
getting better than that.
That was him busting it down and doing the coffee grinder.
Also, okay, yes. he did his little move,
Yeah.
which is punch me in
Punching
the
you in the
stomach
stomach.
and then leave. Okay, and then this is me writing fan fiction part of it,
Love
like
it.
trying
Go
to
on.
get into his brain.
Of course.
Okay, so I was telling my friend, whenever I'm getting ready for these shows, I'm like, oh my God, I look so punk and edgy. And then I get to the show and I'm like, oh my God, I'm the most basic hoe that's
Of course.
ever lived,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I often feel like I stick out and I look like a basic non-punk
Like you're
person.
basically sorority.
Yes, I look
at
like
the
a
punk.
sorority
Yeah.
girl at these shows.
Yeah.
And so my fan fiction is that in his head, it's like the Walter Brothers
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
So
Oh,
if
yes,
you don't
yes,
know,
yes,
in my life with the Walter Brothers, it's like this girl who like moved. She's from New York. She's uppity and tidy, and then she moves to the country with the Walter boys, and they're all like, "Let's throw mud on her because she's from the city."
Well, you're
She's
leaving one you're leaving one
After
thing
her
out.
parents are killed.
That's
oh
why
yeah,
she has
sorry.
to move
No,
the
but
country.
that's not relevant to my story.
Of course, but we'll circle back to the Walter boys. But go on.
Yeah.
Okay, but he sees the uppity girl from the city, and he is the country boy who's gonna throw mud on me.
Right. Yeah. He's just trying to show you what punk
Yes,
is.
but
yeah,
it's
in
like
his
okay,
mind.
I have been to at least I want to say like probably 50 shows with my punk friend over the years, and I have never like maybe I've been like slightly accidentally shoved at one point, but I have never in all of these shows been punched in the stomach.
Well, you've been initiated to the next
I
phase of
guess,
punk.
and it's again that's me
It's like
writing.
getting jumped into a game.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
you're
that's me
in
like
now.
writing fan fiction. Obviously, I don't know that that's what he was thinking, but like that is my fan fiction theory.
Yeah.
is that he's like, look at uppity city girl.
Look at this city girl.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch her in the stomach.
Right.
Look at this mainstream girl. She don't know what it's like to live that punk
I
life.
don't know what it's like to live that punk life.
Shouldn't you be at an Olivia Rodrigo
Shouldn't
concert?
you be in an Olivia Rodrigo concert? That's what he says to me.
but- oh,
He
What?
says, toughen up, shake it up.
Yeah.
Toughen up, shake it up.
Toughen up, shake it up, he
Dude,
says.
toughen up, shake it up.
Zendaya.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Dude, I will say, yeah, sometimes your punk outfits do give shake it up punk
No,
cosplay.
like, I
but
get- no, I
in
know,
a
I know.
cute way. I mean, I
know,
like it,
but-
obviously.
and again, like, it's like I've gone to so many of these with her. Like,
Right.
this
Yeah.
has never happened.
You're not a poser at this point.
I also am not
No.
sure we can draw a line between your outfit and this guy punching you in the
Well,
stomach.
so that's our fan fiction.
That's the fan fiction.
That's my fan fiction. Obviously, I have no way of knowing that that's what he was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
But I do like. At first, I was like giving him a benefit of doubt, like, oh, maybe he was just whatever. But then I was like, no, he knew, and he did it on purpose. And I do, in my heart of hearts, I do think it was.
I think it's
malintent.
rarely accidental that someone is punching you in the stomach.
I think it was on purpose.
Very rarely.
If I'm being
And
honest,
I think the biggest point in favor of that is that you didn't say anything right after, because I feel like if you
Yeah.
are flailing around and
You'd
you
be
feel
like, oh
like
my god, I'm
someone
so
hit,
sorry.
you'd be like, oh my
yeah,
god.
that would be your
Yeah.
instinct.
I mean, to be again, like in the pits, the intention is to like shove people, like that's like what you're all consenting to.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was fairly obvious that the pit had just started, and I was all like,
was
and
a
I was
new
not
pit.
clued in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think it was obvious that I was not aware
That we were at that level of the
Yes,
pit. That it had
yes.
ascended there.
Yes. Like you could tell, like I was not privy.
you weren't with it.
And he was like, here you come, city girl. Here I come, city girl. So, yeah.
So yeah, which brings us to My Life with the Walter Boys, which is the wish fulfillment of the trope of, man,
I wish my whole family would die.
Oh, it's okay. It's just my custom made lampshade.
A lamp. Sorry,
With
Eve knocked
feathers
over
and
a
gems
lamp.
on it.
Eve basically did to the lamp what that guy in the mosh pit did to her.
But
hurt
basically-
people hurt people.
So true. Wish fulfillment of, I wish my entire family would freaking die so that I could go live in a
with some
frick
hot,
house.
sexy boys.
Hot, sexy boys.
Yes, and that's what My Life with the Walter
But the
Boys
funniest thing is it's on Netflix. When you watch it, the boys are always saying stuff to her like, you're gonna have to toughen up if you want to make it in the country. It's like she's in the country because her whole family just died.
like, does she
They
need to toughen
just
up?
died.
She went through a lot of trauma. I'm sure it'll toughen her up.
This city girl don't know what it is to go through things in
Yeah.
life. It's like she buried her entire
Yeah.
family 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. And everyone's like, I don't believe this whole little orphan Annie act. It's like,
it's
God
what
damn.
Yeah. What
Also,
act?
in what way do you believe that like her family is secretly still alive?
Or like people be like, you're so lucky that you get to live with the hot Walter boys.
Yeah.
Wish my family would die.
So I could live with the hot Walter boys.
But it's like, it makes sense because so much Wattpad fan fiction, like that's the start.
Well,
They're
it's
like,
all
how
about-
do I go live with One Direction? My whole family dies.
But there's a
Boom.
lot of, okay, you know what I noticed? It's all like, how can I move to a frick house, but like it's like against my will.
Right.
Like,
It's
that's
against-
what-
I don't
like,
like.
I don't
She's
want-
she's so like, oh,
like
these
these
rowdy, these
gross
rowdy boys.
Yeah.
Wish my family was alive.
Like that's correct. Or like being sold to One Direction.
Right. It has to be against your
like-
will. It has to be against your will.
because you can't want that. It has
Right.
to be
Otherwise,
thrust
there's no
upon
enemies
you.
to lovers.
Yes.
Yeah.
There has to be an enemies
You
to
have to
lovers,
start
which is
enemies.
also why the boys have to be bullying her.
Right.
Because if they're too nice to her, then then there's no enemies to lovers.
Yeah, if there was like, hey, we're really sorry that your family died. It's like, no, you
No.
gotta be like,
You have
you're
to be
not
like,
sorry, so
You're
I'll
not sorry,
frick you.
and then you
Right.
splash the mud on
Also,
her.
if they don't splash the mud on her, then there's no reason for like them to like take off clothes. or,
Right.
like,
No,
like there's
there's
so
so
yeah,
many
yeah, yeah.
reasons.
Because then it's like,
it's like
oh,
the
we're all
reason she took her shirt
muddy.
off is because they splashed mud on her. You know,
We're
like
all muddy now.
it has to be thrust upon you.
Oh, I accidentally put some mud on you. Guess we have to fuck right now. That's how it works in the country.
That's
That's how it
country.
works in the country.
That's how it
Get
works
with
in the
it, city
country.
girl.
But like they keep razzing her, like their mom is like, "Oh, this girl's family died. She's gonna be living with us," and they're like, "If you're not here at 3, we're leaving school without you."
And
And
they
then
don't give her a ride home from school.
yeah, they ride home without her. They put bleach in her shampoo. They're just fucking with her 24/7.
Some girl at school is like, oh, you're so lucky you get to live with those hot guys. It's like, is she lucky? Is the girl whose whole family just died lucky?
I mean, that girl seems like she'd kill her family to go live with the Walter boys.
I always say that
It's-
when people say like you're lucky and then like cite a circumstance that is obviously unfortunate. I'm like, okay, then kill your family.
Then do it.
Then
Then
do it
Then
then.
do it then.
Then do it then.
I mean, that's like that movie we watched where the girl is like a survivalist, but he didn't know.
Dude,
Oh,
what is that
You're
one?
Next?
You're
Is that
next.
one?
You're
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
Ripped.
And he like hires people to like kill his family so he can like whatever get their money.
But
But one
unbeknownst
member of
to
his
him,
family is
the
dating a
girlfriend is
survivalist
actually
girl.
yeah.
And our favorite genre of movie, they don't know who they're fucking
You don't
with.
know
You don't know who you're fucking
You don't know who you're
with.
fucking with.
We
It's
love
the best
that.
genre of
Yeah,
movie.
which is
We're-
you come try to fuck with me, but little do you know, I'm a super spy.
Yeah, you have no clue.
I'm trained in combat.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, your next definitely qualifies
John
with
Wick.
that. John Wick is they
John
don't know
Wick
who
is
they're
you don't
fucking
know
with.
you don't know who you're fucking
They
with.
killed
That's
his
like the
dog.
OG.
That's
Yeah,
the
it's
biggest.
the
They don't know who
OG,
they're
you don't know
fucking
who you're
with.
fucking with.
But going back to like the trope of like, oh, your parent died, so now you get to go on this like little wild adventure. My favorite example of something kind of doing that is in Percy Jackson, where right before he goes to Camp Half-Blood, his mom gets murdered by a minotaur. But the camp's so
Also,
cool.
that's brutal. Like Minotaur
worst
is
death.
crazy.
It's the worst.
Wait, is Minotaur half human, half horse?
Yeah.
No.
Wait.
What are you picturing? Minotaur is like a man with like a bull's head.
Oh.
I'm thinking of Centaur.
Centaur.
Yeah,
Minotaur's not
Centaur.
that far off.
No.
Don't act like you're
No,
like,
you don't
what?
act like she's
that's
crazy.
You're
I'm gonna
that's
act
so
like that's
crazy.
crazy. I'm gonna act like that's a little
no,
crazy.
but I think the centaur is like a good guy.
The centaur's good.
And
Yeah,
the minotaur
is
is
bad.
But don't act like she's crazy. Those are
Don't act
very
like I'm
Those
separate.
are
crazy.
wildly different.
No, they're not.
They have different
They're both-
vibes.
they're both
the centaur
man,
is traditionally
animal
a
hybrid.
good. Yeah, but it's the right half. You know what I mean? Like the minotaur Minotaur is like a scary
think
monster.
also
The centaur is like a
the
fantastical
words
good thing.
Are very similar.
Tar.
Minotaur, centaur. Those are very similar words. Don't act like, don't gaslight her.
I'm not gaslighting. I'm not gaslighting. It's not gaslighting if you genuinely
Okay,
think
keep
the other
talking about
person is
Percy
being
Jackson.
crazy.
His mom was killed by a minotaur, not a centaur.
But anyway, he's so excited to like look around Camp Half-Blood.
is that like a hippogriff? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Like a mermaid?
Like a mermaid.
His mom was killed. It was like a house elf, wasn't it? But an house elf killed his mom.
Dobby killed his mom.
Dobby
Yeah,
kills
so anyway,
Okay,
in
so
Percy
after
Jackson,
Dobby kills Percy's
Dobby
mom.
from Harry Potter murders his mom.
Right.
No, but a Minotaur kills his mom, and then he goes to Camp Half-Blood, and he immediately gets over his mom being
Because
murdered.
he has a crush. And
Yeah.
the moral of the story is if you have a crush, you can move through anything.
No, literally.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true about like shitty jobs. Like people always talk about this, but it's like if you have a shitty job, it's fine as long as you have a work crush. If
Yeah.
you're in school, I always would think about this. I never minded going to any class that my crush was in. I'm just thinking about
They hated every
Well, no, I
class you
literally was
were
thinking
in.
about like sometimes like my crushes would transfer out of my class at periods, and I was like,
You were like, wait.
because they knew.
Yeah.
It's because they know.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
wow.
What?
Your crushes are like, I sure hope my crush is in here, and they see you, they're like, Dana again. Oh, God. Yeah, if Percy Jackson had shown up to Camp Half-Blood and met Dana, he would have been like,
He'd be like, my mom,
my
I miss my mom."
bring her back. But instead he saw Annabeth, daughter
was
of
like-
Athena, and he's
yeah.
like,
He's
what?
like, Mom, who? Who's mom?
He's like asking Annabeth out. She's like, didn't your mom just die? He's like, oh man, I barely knew that
I
bitch.
barely knew that
I
bitch.
barely knew that motherfucker.
Mother, no fucker.
That mother.
That mother.
Barely
And then
knew
she's
that
alive.
mother.
Turns out
Yeah.
the twist is that actually she turns out to be alive, and he barely cares
He's
then.
like, oh, cool.
He's like, oh great. Can you make me a
Nice.
grilled cheese?
Make yourself useful, mom.
Yeah.
Make me an Annabeth.
Make
I wonder if we've talked about this before, but the fact that
Probably.
his mom is dating an abusive guy because he's stinky, literally because he's stinky,
Yeah.
and the smell of his stink covers up the scent of Percy's demigod.
That's right.
And it's like
Wait.
he's so abusive, and Percy's like, "Why are you dating him?" And she's like, "Because he smells soap." Like, this is real. I'm not making
It's
this
real.
up.
It is
I'm
real.
not making this up. And I'm like, "Girl, why didn't you get some like essential oils? The
Yeah.
fuck? Like, why didn't you burn some? Can't get some Febreze on that boy."
Also, does she realize that like good people can smell bad
Yeah,
too?
get a nice stinky man.
Yeah.
Get a nice stinky man. I do feel like we've said this before
We
because I'm
gotta do
having
this.
deja vu, but it's so crazy
Dude,
that it
doesn't-
needs to be said again.
I might be confusing. I might be confusing a bunch of different things. Doesn't the like her abusive boyfriend like hit Percy?
Yeah.
Bro.
And she's like, but we need his stench.
We need his
that's-
stench.
That's a similar like common trope is mom's abusive boyfriend hits hot male
Well,
lead.
we just watched the OC pilot. One of the best
And
pilots ever, if
Dawn
not the.
Atwood, Ryan Atwood's mother, obviously is dating some scumbag who beats the shit out of Ryan.
Right.
Look,
And
he
it's
the
like
exact same
that-
structure as Percy Jackson.
But then he doesn't care because he goes and he has a crush in the OC.
he goes to the OC, has a crush on
his
this magical man.
His life is falling apart, and yet
Right.
the crush saves it all.
Well, that
Proof.
is like wish fulfillment for any type of teen show. Is you want independence, you want to be in a new, better world, and you want to
want your
crush.
family
You
to
want your
fuck
family
off.
to fuck off.
Yeah.
And you need a crush. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
Well, that's the whole thing with Gossip Girls. Like
Yeah.
Dan and Jenny, but really Dan, he wants Rufus to fuck off. He wants to have a crush on Serena.
Yeah.
And he wants to go to a new, better private
Yeah.
school.
And then Jenny wants Rufus to fuck off.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she wants to be inducted into the world of glamour and fashion.
And Harry wants the Dursleys to fuck off.
That's
he
so
wants
real.
to go to Harry Potter.
Everyone wants
Yeah.
a crush, and
Yeah.
they want their family to fuck off.
Dude, Harry was a narcissist who kind of had a crush on his own status.
He did.
He was like, oh, I'm the chosen one. I have a
Yeah,
crush
right,
on
That was
myself.
his
Yeah.
crush was his status.
His
Yes.
crush was his status.
His crush was his like little
status.
hair flip and revealing the lightning.
In the lightning
Yes.
bolt.
His crush was everybody being like, oh my god, is that
Is that
His
Harry?
crush
He's
was
like,
the
yeah,
fact that
this rips.
Voldemort considered him an enemy.
Yeah, it's like,
He had
But
an
honestly,
op.
it's really flattering.
Yeah,
He had
Oh.
a famous op.
Yeah.
He had a famous
If you're an
op.
11-year-old boy and you find out that the most powerful dark wizard is your op, you're like, oh,
You're
I
like,
must be like
hell
hot
yeah,
fucking
bruh.
shit. Yeah.
Frick, yeah.
Well, I think there's like quotes about that, but like you know yourself by the power of your enemies, like how powerful are your enemies.
that's
because that
tea.
dictates your power.
That's
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Because I see you as a threat.
exactly.
Voldemort sees him as a threat.
Right.
Squaring up with an 11-year-old, as is off said.
Yes. oft. I mean, Voldemort really needed a crush. You know what I mean?
Well, no, he did. Wait, oh no, I'm thinking of Grindelwald. Sorry.
No.
Grindelwald and Dumbledore.
Grindelwald and Dumbledore.
Sure.
Sure. Isn't it funny that
Sure.
No, it's canon.
it's canon.
It's canon.
Grindelwald and young Dumbledore.
If you
Young
don't,
Albus.
Well, what I always find funny about young Albus, I know we've talked about this before, but this
yeah.
element is just like, the whole thing is like in the Fantastic Beasts movies, it's young Dumbledore, but they cast Jude Law, who is like in his late 50s. He's not even that young.
He's middle-aged Dumbledore.
He's middle-aged Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I think to make that kind of prequel shit work, it has to be such a big gap that they look like, it's like the way like Ewan McGregor can play young Obi-Wan because he's actually young.
But it can't be like a flashback to 10 years ago.
No, it's so real.
Like, what? Like,
yeah, we need actually young.
I'm also trying to think of like, all right, Lord of the Rings, Frodo, he liked the Shire though. But he didn't like how boring the Shire was. And I guess his crush would be Sam. All right, so maybe it doesn't work for everything.
well, Lord of the Rings I famously didn't like because there were no crushes. I was like, there's no
Dude, there
crushes
is.
in Lord of the Rings. What?
I'm agreeing with you.
yeah, there's no crushes.
I'm saying
That's
there
Lord of the
is no
Rings'
crushes.
main problem.
No
is that there's no
crushes.
crushes.
Yeah, it's
Movies
a very,
need
I mean,
crush.
it's very male, and it's very like you can tell it was written by like an old Oxford professor. And I like Lord of the Rings. I think it rips. But for me personally, what keeps Lord of the Rings ranked lower is that it can be a little self-serious, and there are no crushes. To Dana's point, and then in The Hobbit, they try to like work in some crush. They're like, the elf has a crush on one of the hot dwarves. And I'm like, listen to that sentence. Like, just
But
listen
what's
it back.
weird is I liked The Hobbit. I was like, even as a kid, and I'm like, maybe it was just
'Cause
that
crush?
added little crush.
Well, I like the book. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the movies.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
And really, they just didn't need 3 of those.
I mean, the real problem with the Hobbit movies is that the Hobbit is one book, so one book equals one movie. Stop trying to split one book into many movies.
Oh, Harry Potter
Tea.
really popularized that. And like,
Yeah.
and I'll say the first part of the last Harry Potter movie is just like sad camping, desaturated. I'm like, miss me with that.
Right.
Miss us
Of course,
with
I
it.
saw it in the theaters like opening weekend, but
No,
miss
but
me.
like them doing the 2-part movie, like that changed the course of history for the worse.
yeah, because then Hunger Games did it, and again, I think those last 2 Hunger Games movies.
And then Divergent
Sucked.
tried to do it, but everybody hated their
And then they
part
didn't
1
even
so
finish
much
their
that they couldn't even
series.
get to their part 2.
To me, I'm just like,
And Mission Impossible,
one
same.
book equals one movie.
Well, Mission Impossible, they made their part 2, but people didn't like part 1 so much they pretended that it's
It wasn't
not
part
2.
2, yeah.
There's Dead Reckoning part 1, and then there's no part 2.
Right.
So if you're a big part 1 fan, you're really confused.
But again, this
right
is
now.
why our prediction is that Wicked, for good, won't do as well as Wicked #1.
Also,
yeah.
because if you've never seen the play, it seems like it's over.
Seems like it's over. I
So.
mean, and again, I
And
think
people
like
are going to be real shocked when there's
I think
the
people are gonna
Scarecrow
be
and
really
Tin Man in the
confused.
next
Wicked
part.
fans, I think, are taking a victory lap. They're like, "Ooh, I can't wait till Wicked Part 2 sweeps the Oscars next year." And I'm like, "Hey, maybe it will. I loved Wicked Part 1." But let's just be a little realistic here. Wicked Part 2 gets a little crazy.
I normally hate Chubbs, but he was right about this take.
I normally hate Chubbs.
I normally fucking hate
Chubbs
Chubbs.
is kind of giving baby girl at this one.
But he's kind of baby girl coated.
I normally like hate Osama bin Laden, but
But he's kind of baby girl
he's kind of
coated.
baby girl quoted.
Dude, me when I find out Osama bin Laden loved Wicked.
Dude, I'm like, wait.
okay,
Whoa.
wait, why is he right about
I'm like,
that?
wait, but why is he
But
kind
why
of
is he, like, low-key,
Well, that was the thing when they raided his compound. He had a lot of like American media in
and
there.
weed.
And weed.
Oh my
and
God.
people
People
were
were
like,
like,
yeah, people were like,
wait,
Osama
he was
plays
goated.
420.
yeah, he was goated.
Yeah.
Didn't he also have like a binder full of pictures of Hillary Clinton, or did I fall for some weird like
I don't know about
clickbait.
that. I just remember the weed part.
weed 420?
And they were like, yo,
Well, I know we've talked about
he
this.
was lit.
But it's like that one like I don't know foreign leader who was shit talking America. Who was like, all our heroes are fictional. It's like, haha, who would you even assassinate to hurt America? SpongeBob. And it's like, yeah, all our heroes are fictional, but they rip.
Tea.
You all love SpongeBob. Sorry, I burped.
Also, it's like you can name SpongeBob. I can't name one of your guys' things.
I
What
can't
of your
even
guys'
name
thing?
a foreign country.
I
don't
Yeah.
don't know any
America.
other countries.
Yeah. I can't name.
Lithuania? I don't know.
I don't even know who these two are.
Yeah.
I just know that they stole my podcast right out from under me.
Wait, can we like
How do we
touch
talk
on
about
that?
this?
With
I think we're
that?
going to touch on that in a way where we'll have our real opinions off camera and we can just kind of
we
say
don't-
it in a very neutral
No,
way.
but we have
We
a
just like, don't have to name names.
No, we don't have to
like,
name names.
Okay, basically, there's this like podcast that's like going through some drama right now because one of the hosts like basically quit and
Basically, a podcast has been hijacked.
Yeah.
The allegation is, hey, I was doing a podcast and then I left the podcast. The other host kept doing the podcast without me. My podcast has been hijacked and I want it to end.
Right. And so like host number 1 leaves, host number 2 continues the podcast on with a new host.
And now there's
then
a
host number 1 makes
divide.
like an expose video
About
being
how their
like,
podcast
how
was
host
stolen
number
from
2
them.
has like hijacked the podcast, has not paid her any money anyway. So like we're just talking about the fudged numbers.
Yeah. I mean,
So this is a podcast that does not appear to be that much more successful than Young
Well,
Old.
we obviously-
from a number standpoint.
we watched the whole video of the
Yes.
person saying that their podcast had been hijacked, and we
And
were
we
very
agree
team
with them. We're
team
team them.
But
Like, they
then
were
we-
right. They
but
were
then
right.
we
Their
look at
podcast
the
has
numbers,
been
and we
hijacked.
basically just see like the numbers on their pod
Yeah.
are kind of comparable
They
to the
really
numbers
are.
on
the,
ours.
the viewing numbers, the
And
downloads.
look, maybe they're just way better business people.
Maybe that is so real.
But like she's alleging that they were making like $20,000 a month. And let me just tell you, Young Old is making nothing.
Nothing about
Negative,
Or
Zero.
nothing.
Negative. I have only lost money doing Young Old, and so I'm like, when I hear that a podcast that's doing
The
similar
same.
numbers to Young Old is bringing in $20K
Yeah.
a month, my eyebrows do shoot up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
again,
also 'cause,
maybe we're just terrible
Their
business
TikTok, their TikTok does super well, but she said that specifically their money comes from like their download and Spotify numbers. And
Yeah.
like when it comes to that, we are extremely comparable.
We are extremely comparable. Also, even the TikTok thing, it's like, yeah, their TikTok does well, but like also like I have more followers on TikTok than them.
Right. Like
They're not
Robert is
making
an
20K a
individual.
month.
Yeah.
Which is, and again, maybe they're just insanely good business people, and
And
we
look,
suck.
maybe
we're
we're
missing
bad business
something.
people.
Maybe, like,
Here's the
I
deal.
mean,
Maybe
I
we're
don't
bad.
know.
We
Okay.
could be bad.
I have no doubt that we are not the most savvy business people.
Right.
But it's just so funny to be like,
But we're just we
But the
think
difference between
our
like
theory is that
negative
she's
thousands
fudging
and 20,000.
She's like saying the numbers are really high so that she can get a larger cut
yes.
of the podcast,
Yes.
like and during her lawsuit or whatever. Which, like, you know, do you pop
you
off.
get as much money? I don't know about any of that.
But like
Settle it.
we were just loving like doing our own version of that where like we cut either me or like Chubbs
one
out of the
us,
podcast.
Yeah, one of us gets cut out, and it becomes like
And
we were
then we're
making
like-
$100,000 a day.
It's like Young Old was making $6 million an episode.
Well, I immediately texted in the group chat. I was like, "Hey guys, just a reminder. Remember, you guys agreed that I own 90% of Young Old,
Right, because they
just to
keep
create a
talking about-
paper
just to create a
trail."
paper trail.
She was like, I was during this whole time, like I was making a paper trail, and she's talking about like emails and texts that she sent, and like there's a whole paper trail, like showing that what we agreed upon as business partners. So then Chubbs keeps sending like fake messages that are like, hey, remember when you guys said that I get all of the money when we
Yeah.
dissolve the podcast?
Hey guys, just a reminder. You guys both agree that the podcast is owned 50% by me and 50% by our loud neighbor, and we're
also,
splitting.
the neighbor is the same age as you guys.
I know.
How do
We
you
looked
feel
it up.
about that?
Yeah.
We
We
kept
talked
calling
so
him
much
50.
shit.
We talked so much shit.
We talked
but
so
he's
much
the
shit
same
saying
age as
he was
He's the
old.
same age.
He's literally 30.
He's exactly the same age
He's
as us.
30.
Maybe that really is like, oh, we're getting old, and we don't even like when we see another person who's our
But
age,
it's
we
like-
go, that person's old.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
It's like,
so crazy to
that's
think
your
about.
peer.
Yeah.
You
I
guys, that's
know.
your peer. Like you should, like we were joking.
And
Oh,
he's a
wouldn't
lot
it be
more
funny?
successful than us.
I
Upon a
don't
quick
know
Google
that that's
search.
necessary. It probably is.
I
Like,
think
oh,
so.
wouldn't it be
I don't
funny
know,
if you
our
guys
podcast
were?
is pulling in $30,000 a day.
Yeah, so very successful.
Never mind.
But we're like, oh, it's so funny if you were over at his party. Like, you should be at his party.
Yeah.
That's your peer.
That's your.
That's your peer.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be
Luckily,
weird to
Robert
be
and I
at his
don't
party.
have peers.
It's actually super normal for you guys to go to his party.
Dude, it's actually there's something about Eve's tone that's so just like the,
And you went over and you told him to turn it down. That's your peer.
Dude, that's crazy
That's
that
our
we went and told our
peer.
peer to
Like,
turn it down.
you told your peer to turn it
embarrassing.
down.
That's like knocking on like
he would have been in high school with you guys.
we're like, aren't you a little old to have fun? He's like,
They're like,
don't you mean?
we're the same age?
He's like, don't you mean aren't we a little old to
Yeah.
have fun?
Also, yeah, we talked up so much about how old he was.
yeah. And he's not
literally
old. He's our
30.
age.
And he's our age. He's literally our age. It's just there's something about just like
He's your peer.
Us, us complaining about someone and hating on someone for a long time, and then at the end of that, Eve being like, "Yeah, so he's actually your peer.
He's actually literally your
peas
peer.
in a pod.
Your peas in a motherfucking pod.
Your peas in a pod."
Just
and Eve,
three
Eve
30-year-olds.
meanwhile, still surrounded by olds.
You should be going on double dinner dates with them.
I was saying to Chubbs the other day that I would love to have like cool couple friends at some point.
Yeah, well,
yeah, good luck with there's some
good
right
luck.
there for you.
Go for it.
You want me to go invite them to dinner?
No, I won't. It is interesting because we've gone. Obviously, okay, we've had friends before. We have friends and stuff. But
That sounded really suspicious.
obviously we have friends. They're right off camera. Don't pan, but they're right off camera.
Okay.
But also, I remember like one time though, like the problem is like, dude, I remember one time we were on like it was us and this other couple, and we're at dinner, and basically we just like learned the guy's sense of humor over the course of a dinner.
Oh my god!
And
yeah.
it was all just like it was very like bro-y, fratty vibe.
Yeah. Just like realizing in real time that like you and someone else's boyfriend have like nothing to say to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's just like, oh man. I mean, boyfriend vibes tend to across the board be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like again, we were at dinner with this guy, and like this isn't exactly what he said, but it's little jokes like, "Hey, are we gonna get dessert after this meal?" And the real desserts when everybody goes back to their bedrooms. Am I right? You know, like
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
That's
Just
not
like
literally, but
no,
very
but it's like
suggestive.
middle school
of-
boy.
But that's just like uncouth.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like serious. Like it wasn't like
No,
gross.
I know,
it was
I
just
know,
like
I know.
really like
Yeah.
that's the joke you're making.
Yeah.
Because we're really sophisticated as the young
Yeah.
listeners know. Poopy.
Survivor
Poopy.
poopy.
Yeah.
Stinky poop, stinky poop.
Stinky
poopy,
poopy,
stinky
stinky
poopy.
poopy.
But yeah, no, it's just like it's hard for us to find couple friends, I was saying, because I think that it's rare to meet a heterosexual couple. Don't come for us. We know we seem lavender.
Lavender marriage.
But a heterosexual couple that is friends the way that Robert and I are friends. Because like what you start to realize is like most like boy girl couples, it's like they don't like each other that much. You know what I mean? Like
well, I mean, yeah.
they don't like to talk to each other.
Yeah.
So then it's like you come in with like a different couple dynamic, and it's just it's a weird double date dynamic.
Well, also, okay, there's also this thing happens like specifically with like, dude, like other straight guys will sometimes like, to me, they think the dynamic will be like, you know, punches on the arm, playful headlock, razzing. And I'm like,
seem like
don't
an alien
you
who's
fucking
never met
dare.
a straight guy.
I have.
No, Robert,
I
that's why he
feel
doesn't
that
like
way.
hanging out with them.
Well, but it's
because they're
like-
always trying to headlock
They're
him.
always trying to
Well,
headlock.
Dana,
Yeah.
because
Maybe
also,
you should stop giving off such beta energy, and then they wouldn't feel the need to headlock you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The reason we can't hang out with him is he gave me a headlock and I stabbed him in the throat with a knife. So that's why we can't hang out. But I'm just like, what? But it's similar. By the way, I have had numerous people give me playful headlocks before.
Are you
Never been into
serious?
it.
Numerous.
Dude, that's such a straight guy thing.
Numerous?
Groups of straight guys, they love to
As
give
an
each other
adult?
playful headlocks. Yes, man.
adult.
Yes, dude.
yes,
And
yes.
then
As
it's
an adult.
Yes,
Yes,
dude.
Robert's been playfully headlocked many times in his adult life.
In
How
my
did you
adult
know?
life.
Well, did you witness it?
At times.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
sometimes.
I've seen
I'm sorry,
someone
that would
try
give
to
me
like.
the ick so bad.
Well, it gives
that would
me
give
the
me the
fucking
ick
ick.
so
well,
bad.
but it's like you getting punched in the stomach in the sense that I'm like, well, what can I do here?
My
Because-
man would never let another man headlock him.
Can I be honest?
Robert
right?
didn't let them
I didn't
headlock
let
him.
it. Yeah. Also, I think I could get him in a headlock.
Okay, next time you
I'm
see
getting him in a headlock.
him, next time you see
All
him,
right,
try
I'm gonna
to
get him in a
headlock
headlock.
him.
Also,
Game on, I'm gonna
His
get him in a
head
headlock.
is like way up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, I gotta tell you something.
I dare
Get down
you.
here, buddy.
Get on
I
here,
dare you
buddy.
to try and
Yeah.
headlock him.
I'm like, wait a minute, is that shirt an untuck it?
Got him.
Got him.
Dare you to try to headlock
Well,
him
but
next
okay,
time.
as I say about headlocks, it's like the thing is, it's like, okay, my choices are, I can't say anything.
I'm victim blaming you right now.
I can't say anything, but also my
I'm like, it's your fault.
Male loneliness epidemic.
Male loneliness.
This is why.
yeah, well, here's the thing about okay, I have a couple things. First off, but my choices are pretend I'm cool with it or I'm now in a fist fight. You know what I mean? Like I'm either like we're in a fight or I have to just be like,
But if they sensed that you're the kind of guy that would fist fight them, they would never headlock you.
I don't know what to do
So
differently.
you're saying that he needs to create different energetic boundaries.
Yeah.
If they thought you really would stab them in the throat, then they wouldn't headlock
It's just
you.
so interesting because Robert has very strong energetic boundaries.
I-
for the most part.
for the
Like
most
strangers
part.
don't talk to him.
Yeah, but it's still, dude, it's all about specific dynamics, I
Maybe you
suppose.
should wear like spiky collars. So that if they put their arm
Dude.
there, then they
remember
get
there was-
Would you say
stabbed.
your personal style should come from specific necessities about your lifestyle?
Well, there was like an old.
So if you're constantly
They
getting
had like,
headlocked,
I had to wear a spiked collar, like a Rottweiler.
like dogs.
your style lifestyle choice. You're like, it's necessity.
Like dogs, like they have coyote gear, like spiky
I have
coyote
playful headlock
gear.
gear.
The freaking spiky vests are iconic. Like they look so good.
that a coyote or a hawk doesn't like try to grab your dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could wear like the little helmets that they have.
Oh my God, let's do
Yeah.
a spiky
I'm
helmet.
gonna
That's like
have
a
to.
spiky helmet.
Yeah.
And then no one will
In
want to
order for us to
headlock
have
you.
couple friends, you're gonna need a spiky helmet.
We show up to drinks and it's you walking in your cutest cocktail gown and I walk in wearing like football pads and a spiky helmet. Nice to meet you.
Don't headlock me.
Don't you
You'll get
fucking
hurt.
think about it.
Yeah.
And it's covered in blood from all the guys who've still tried it. They get stabbed every time they try.
But dude, here's the thing about that type of dude though. If they did that, they'd be like, what the fuck, man? I was just trying to be your friend. What the fuck? I'm like, don't put me in a playful headlock.
Yeah.
Look,
Robert
I-
doesn't like playful razzing.
I dare you to try and headlock my man, and if you're successful, I'm leaving his ass because
I'm like, everyone's
not okay
everyone's
with
a play.
me.
Dude, you think that playful headlocks won't come for your man or whatever? It's you're either dishing them out or you're getting them.
he's not dishing them. Okay, if I would also leave him if I saw him dish it out.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is like when people say like locker room talk or whatever, like this is behind closed doors. Nor like women are not generally present for this.
But
This
you
is a
said
world
Dana's
don't
seen
know.
it.
Yeah, but Dana, you've seen it like
Like I haven't
joking
seen
versions
yes,
of
I've
it.
seen joking
That's
versions
also
of it.
the problem.
Like,
Also
Robert,
at open
at
mics,
open
or
mics,
in
it's-
comedy
yes,
show environments,
yes.
sometimes it's like oh, isn't it? I'm giving you an ironic,
It's
playful
ironic,
headlock.
playful
I don't like
headlock.
those either, but that's also what I've been on the receiving
it's like
of
almost
too.
a joke of like, haha, if we were guys, this is what we do, but you're just doing the thing.
Can you imagine
Like-
if we were the type of guys to do this?
Yeah, it's very much that.
And I'm right back where I've
energy.
always been, which is locked in a playful headlock.
So you get ironic ones. Do you get genuine ones too?
Also, what do you mean genuine? I
Ones
mean, I've
that
gotten
aren't
them in the
ironic.
past, but it kind of stopped mostly in college because then I'm like, I'm never hanging out with the type of person to give me a
right.
playful
See,
headlock.
that's what
Now
That's
he's
why
only
when
hanging
I
out with
say-
people who give ironic playful.
That's
Yeah.
why I asked as an adult because I'm like that. I could see that happening. You know,
High school constantly.
yeah.
High
as
school near
kids, like
constantly.
that makes sense. But like as an adult,
What do you think is the female equivalent of the male playful headlock?
Well,
is it
it's
like giving
gotta
a
be
backhanded
verbal.
compliment?
Yeah, I
It's
was
gotta
gonna
be
say backhanded
backhanded.
compliment, being like you're so
that's-
brave.
You're so brave for wearing something
Oh my
like
God.
that. I
That's
would
like
never
it-
have the confidence to wear something like that.
I
You
love
would say
how
that to me
that's-
constantly.
Dude, that's the female version of a
Dude.
headlock.
I love how you haven't touched your blephs.
Dude.
Even
Oh
though
my
they're
God,
so
you-
pronounced.
Wait, you have your
Okay.
original blephs? That's so
Bleph.
confident.
Bleph related topic.
Yeah.
At my hot yoga class today, there was tons of these like little flyers around that like they were an ad for like unlimited Botox injections.
What?
I'm like, first of all, that is so dangerous. Don't
First,
offer
there needs
people
to be a limit.
Unlimited.
There needs to be a
Unlimited.
limit.
What do you
Bro.
mean unlimited?
And then the woman on the ad looks like a fucking alien. Like I'm like, wait, this is the girl that well, I mean, I don't think it's a real. It looked photoshopped to the gods. Like it looked like a cartoon woman. She looked fucking psycho. But I'm like, I can't even imagine anybody looking at this ad and being like,
That's what I want to look
that's
like.
what I want to look like. Like
Yeah.
she looked insane. And then
There's one plastic surgery ad, like Botox, with like $14 per unit, and a billboard with a lady who looks absolutely fucking wild in
Insane.
West Hollywood.
Okay, but then it's like unlimited, and I'm like, unlimited. Why would you need
Unlimited?
unlimited?
Right.
And then also because it's like somebody like me who's always trying to get the deal.
That's how they get
Yeah,
you.
that's how they
Like
get you.
I'd be going crazy
to get your money's worth.
And then the cherry on top is like all the proceeds go to charity.
Dude, okay,
All
Botox
right.
is, can I say something?
What?
That is over the line. In terms of charity, that's over the line.
Botox actually does kind of function like the ugly surgery in that apparently I was watching a video today. It not only like kills your empathy part of your brain, but it also makes it so like because you don't have facial expressions, you no longer feel like anger or sadness or happiness the same way.
Oh yeah, because they
Like,
say
all of these things
forcing
are
yourself
linked.
to smile actually does
it makes
make you
happy
happier.
and like whatever, but like it literally kills your ability to be mad and it kills your ability to be genuinely happy. And I'm like, so it actually does just like turn you into kind of a robot with a stiff
Well,
face.
we saw someone on a reality show and they were shouted out at this event in the reality show and they started to cry, but they had crazy Botox. So it was just so off-putting. Their face was unmoving
they were
and
leaking.
tears were leaking.
Yeah, they were just like
It looked like a
leaking water.
faucet that wasn't like
I mean, that's
fastened in
basically
all
the
the way.
Kim crying face, the
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian crying face.
Yeah.
where she looks super weird crying.
Dude, I'm so glad I had my Botox phase and I got it over with. And now I'm.
Well, if you're looking for a deal, they're doing unlimited, and don't worry, it goes to charity.
It goes to charity.
That's such a weird deal.
I know it's such a weird deal, and also again, their model that they're using to trying to entice you, like, oh, you can look like her. She looks fucking whack, bro.
Yeah.
She looks whack. She looks whack.
LA is scary.
I know.
LA's
yeah.
scary.
You have to really have your head on straight here.
Yeah.
You can't even be a little bit suggestible.
Yeah.
Because also it's like you give a mouse 10 units of Botox, he's gonna want
Also, unlimited
weird
is
shit
just-
to go with it.
Unlimited,
Well, unlimited is like,
oh my god,
there has to
oh
be
my
a
god.
limit. What if you try to find the limit? There's got to be a limit.
Well, I'm just confused as to how that even works and what do they mean for charity? How much of it goes to charity? What?
I don't remember the specifics.
What
of the
was the
flyer.
charity?
It was like a abbreviation of some kind, like AAP. I don't know.
The charity
Who
is like
knows?
people
Scary.
who regret getting Botox.
To reverse their-
PWRB.
I have no idea what the charity was because they didn't say. It was literally just the abbreviation for it.
Charity is for men who get locked in playful headlocks. Dude, we need it.
Dude, they need it for spiky helmets.
Spiky
Pay
helmets.
for their spiky helmets.
Maybe that'll be our product activation. Will be just reselling spiky
Yo,
helmets.
the anti-headlock
Yeah.
helmets. Or it's like a bear trap, like a helmet with a bear trap on it.
How does that
So
work?
if they put their
Oh, they
arm
like,
there,
get stuck.
if they put their arm there, a bear traps their arm.
Dude, the most annoying
but then
thing about
you're like really stuck in
then
the
you're
headlock.
stuck. Then actually that just makes the headlock kind of permanent.
Yeah,
I
right.
guess
Then you're just
so.
connected forever.
Yeah.
You become kind of
I
Siamese
do think
twins
it's so
of
funny
sorts.
that they stab themselves in your helmet and they go, dude, what the fuck?
They would. These types of guys would. What is your problem,
they'd be
man?
like, what is your
And then,
problem?
and then they shit talk me. We find out I've actually done this before and it didn't go well. Like they're like, dude, God, jeans kid, fuck, dude. I don't even know what his problem was, dude.
Jeans kid wearing an anti-headlock
Also, like,
helmet.
no wonder I never went to football practice.
He was getting headlocked.
I'm getting playful headlocked. I'm getting called jeans kid.
Dude, that's something I think we also have in common is like, I never learned how to retaliate using the weapon of the enemy. Like, I never learned how to deploy a successful backhanded compliment. Like, I never learned how to like
he
fight
never
back
learned
in a
how to
normal way.
headlock.
I would never
Like-
give anyone a headlock.
Right,
I would
that's
never
what
give
but that's
anyone a
literally what I'm
headlock.
saying, where
That
it's
would be
like-
insane to me.
where it's
That's
like,
crazy.
I never learned how to fight back with the language of my oppressor.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm like, either I had to completely remove myself from the situation, which is like how I've operated a lot of my life, unfortunately, or I've done something like totally like weird and out of pocket, like whatever, saying crazy shit about them on the internet or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Like,
just never realized when people were giving me backhanded compliments. Like, I would just think they were compliments, and then years later would look back and then be like, I think they were trying to be mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I didn't notice. I literally just was like, thanks.
That's actually the best way to deal with it is to not know. Like, okay, but here's my thing. I'm like, I would always behave like that in the moment where I'd be like, haha, thanks. And then I realized like when you do that, it's like people think you're stupid and they like get more bold and brazen.
And so at this point, I did say I wanted to leave the podcast and they could either buy me out or we would dissolve all of the accounts. And at this point, I already had a paper trail and Young Old was bringing in $8 million per second. And I said, if you want to buy me out, the rate is going to be $8 million per second, which I think is a fair agreed upon amount.
And so I did what anyone would do. I got a fucking lawyer. And then my fucking lawyer put me in a playful headlock. So I was back to square
So
one.
I got an anti-headlock helmet.
And my lawyer had many cuts and gashes on his limbs.
And then he said, I'm going to sue you for injuries via anti-headlock helmet.
And here's the story of how my anti-headlock helmet lawsuit got stolen out right from under me.
The following is facts only, and I will be reading receipts.
I am not doing this for attention.
Receipt number 1, anti-headlock helmet, $0. I built it myself from the ground up.
And that was not taking into account the $8 million per second figure I mentioned previously.
She said, I guess you can have 15% of the 8 million per second. I was
And I said-
insulted.
I was insulted.
I was beyond disgusted with this offer. Also, it's like if you hadn't seen this video, you were like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Well, look at it's just so funny for someone to be like, I was screwed over, I was defeated, I was stolen, my podcast is gone and my podcast was worth $20,000 a day. And then I'll look it up. It's like, wait a minute, it's like the same of ours. Our podcast is bleeding money.
Hemorrhaging. Money is coming out of my arms the way that
blood is coming out of the arms from the headlock helmet
of Robert.
But it's like, again, maybe they're not lying and they're just incredible businesswomen.
Or we're incredibly not. I could really see just us like
Well,
not
we're
being
not
good at business.
savvy, but that's also because we're trying to build up so much. Like we're trying to build our brand so big
So that we can ultimately betray one another.
right.
Right. And my paper trail is, I already have started that.
I've begun as well.
Well, my paper trail is a lot longer than your guys'.
No, my paper trail's really
the
long.
amount of
No,
paper in my
definitely
trail.
the longest trail.
You could build a house out of all the trees that were used to make my paper
Well,
trail.
Mr. Beast planted more for mine.
Okay. Oh, he needed
to
plant more trees
because
for your
of how
paper
long
trail.
My paper trail was
Right.
becoming.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's crazy because I actually I had the longest paper trail, but then Eve's man put me in a headlock and stole my paper.
And stole all his paper. I said, babe, go get his paper.
And I said, "What's it gonna do to get?" Like, oh, take my paper.
No, but like I would be equally disgusted by getting in a headlock as I would be by putting someone in a
again,
headlock.
not to give personal information, but your significant other has a brothers,
Yeah.
and played sports in high school.
Definitely.
To me,
I'm gonna-
that would
I'm going
combine
to question him
Yeah,
about
definitely
that.
has
Given or received
headlocked and
headlock.
been headlocked.
I'm
He's-
going to question,
he's
but
been
like
on
I
both
said,
sides.
I think it's okay in childhood. It's okay in childhood. As an adult, no, absolutely not.
But like, so what? Like,
Well,
you
what's
want to
the
know if he
cutoff?
turned 18 and if ever
yes, yes.
But how will you know? Does he have receipts?
I'm gonna be grilling him about this later.
Brothers plus high school sports.
Yeah,
that to me is a
equals
lot of playful
headlocks.
headlocks.
Yeah, probably more than Robert.
I'm gonna
has
be
been
grilling
in.
him. I'm gonna be grilling him.
Okay, just
And
letting
he
you
better
know.
have answers that I
And
like.
you've never given. I
You
assume.
never. You would
I
give her a
don't-
receiver.
Yeah. So
Dude, a male cover of the Chapel Roan song "The Giver," but it's about playful headlocks. Dude, no, I don't think I've ever given a playful headlock. I don't think so. Definitely not post puberty. How about that? For
Right.
sure.
No, I would forgive him if it was in childhood. I'd be like, we can move past this.
We can move past this.
If it was as an adult, no,
Dude, who knows?
not okay.
I guess that's like the same probably criteria with me being weird on Omegle Chat.
Right. If you were doing it
If
as
I
an
was
adult,
doing it as an adult, that would
weird.
be weird.
Yeah.
But I did stop that in childhood.
Yeah, you knocked it off.
I did knock it off.
But also, like we said, it's only weird little girls that are doing that. There's actually zero old men.
Right. There are no old creepy men on the internet. There are
It's
only
only
little girls pretending to be old creepy men.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, I think we have almost an hour 20. Do we want
Damn.
to sign off? Or do you have more you want to cover?
I just have one more thing. I just want to
Yeah.
do one more take of it. I'm filming this video because my podcast was stolen. Okay.
All right.
Good night, young.
This is my podcast. I own 90%.
I own 99%. We're
I own
making
99%
$1 million
paper trail.
per
This is a
day.
Pro Chop's paper trail. The paper
My
trail's
paper
for
trail is
Chop's.
huge.
You will have so much better than my
$90,000 are
paper
made while we're singing the
trail.
song and we made another $90,000.
Good
night.